So my doctor says to me, Anne, the wound is worsened. It now goes down to the bone. Shit. I'm going to have to put you on IV antibiotics, send you home, and hope that this butt wound heals from the inside out so we can avoid more surgery. Oh, man, that's going to take weeks. But in order for that to work, you're going to have to sit as little as possible, and I'm going to put a wound vac on your wound, and you're going to have it strapped to your body 24/7. So he shows me the wound vac. It's the size of a toaster, and it makes a constant sucking sound, which is literally the sound of my life being sucked right out of my ass. Now, most people look at me and think, oh, you poor thing, you can't walk. But not walking is the least of my problems. I got a wheelchair for that. It's the lack of sensation from a spinal cord injury that really makes my life tough. So I'm talking, there is a line that goes straight across my nipples as if a magician sawed me in two, where my body breaks from sensation to no sensation. I'm talking, I can drop a stone bookend on my foot and not feel a thing. I've gotten out of a car and I have a second-degree burn from the car heater. And once, while taking a bath, I turned the cold water off first and then the hot water. And when I went to dry my ankles, hunks of flesh came off on the towel. Oh, exactly. Horror movie, okay? So I learned to avoid that, but I still get wounds on my butt from sitting too long or a bad transfer, and when that happens, my life stops. I do all kinds of things to avoid it. I lie on my stomach to use the computer. I lie on my side to watch TV. If I can, I go out and I switch chairs and so I can tip on the side to take pressure off of my butt. But I resent having to constantly save my ass by getting off of my ass. And it's a pain in the ass because the only way I can be out having fun in the world is by sitting on my ass. And the least smallest wrong decision can kick my ass. Like the time I took a driving trip to Tennessee, Mississippi, and Alabama. Well, after a week of driving, I discovered this big, red, angry, Krakatoa-sized zit thing at the base of my spine. So I run into the ER, and that Alabama doctor tells me, oh, honey, you got yourself a trucker's boil. I lanced it for you, and here's some antibiotics, you're going to be fine. But here I am, 3 days later with my regular doctor. He tells me the wound's gone to the bone, and I have to have this toaster tied to my ass. So I spend weeks lying around my apartment. I watch the entire series of Rome, Mad Men, Foyle's War. I pay somebody to bring me food so I don't have to sit to cook. And my big excitement each week is going into the wound clinic where they measure the size of the wound. At first it's 6 centimeters, and I think, that's achievable. And then it's 3 centimeters, and I'm like, yes, I'm going to be able to go to that Jason Mraz concert. And then suddenly, it's 10 centimeters. And my doctor says, Anne, the infection is not resolving. I'm going to have to put you on 2 new IV antibiotics. Well, each one of them comes with its own injection machine and its own unique whirling sound. So now, I am a one-woman medical band with these 3 machines strapped to my body, crisscrossing it like Mexican bandoleros. No bullets, just antibiotics. And I feel like my body is against me, that it's the enemy betraying me every time I turn my back. So I give away the Jason Mraz tickets. I know. I canceled my trip to Yosemite I had planned the year before. I know. And after 10 weeks of lying around at home, the doctor says, Anne, it's not resolving. We're going to have to surgically close it. So now here I am now, post-surgery, on my stomach, in my hospital room, covered in cotton blankets because the OR is so freaking cold. But now I'm hot and smothered, so I call the nurse. And she comes in and lifts up a blanket and says, I'll be right back. All right. Well, then the next thing I know, there are 6 members of my surgical team in my room. And the senior resident says, "Oh, we're just going to take a look at your wound, okay?" Okay. So I hear tape being pulled away. Now, I am on my stomach, right? So all I can see is the headboard and the wall. I can't even see their feet. I can't feel what they're doing, but I can hear. So they speak softly, and I listen harder. I hear the resident say, "Look there. We have to tie that off. Someone go down to the OR immediately and bring back a needle and sutures." Well, that can't be good. And then I hear, "We need a magnification device." They can't see what they're doing? And then about 10 minutes later, he says, "Lift her muscle out of the way." And I'm like, holy shit, they're operating on me right here, right now, in my hospital room. Something is seriously wrong. I mean, we don't have a sterile environment. We certainly don't have anesthesia. Thank God I can't feel it, but of course if I could, I wouldn't be here. And then about 20 minutes later, I'm thinking, what if they can't fix this? It never occurred to me that I would ever have a wound or a complication or a medical problem that they couldn't fix, but what if I can't ever sit again? I mean, forget about traveling to a foreign country or scuba diving. I wouldn't even be able to go to a movie or a restaurant. It's like I could spend the rest of my life at home or in a home. Oh, I hate my body. It stops me from living. Well, finally I hear the resident say, "We need to do a needle count." I like that idea. I think that's a capital idea. It also means they're about to close me up. Finally, after much gauze and plastic tape, the resident leans down and brings his face close to mine, and he says, "When we had you in surgery this morning, we nicked a vein, and that's what we were trying to fix. But don't worry, you are going to be fine." Okay. Well, a little while later, the nurse comes back in and says, "You're getting a new bed." All right. You take me out in the bed into the hallway to make the switch, and I smell iron in the air. And I look on the ground, and there is a pile of blood-soaked blankets. It looks like the bride of Godzilla's sanitary napkin or something. It's just huge. And then I think, wait a minute, those are the cotton blankets that I asked them to remove because I was too hot. And then I realized I was bleeding out. That's why they were operating on me in my room. And I think, I bled so much, I soaked these blankets. I bled so much that I stained an industrial hospital mattress beyond redemption. And I think, what an amazing body I have. It has survived 40 years without a central nervous system. It gets cut on time and again. It can bleed copiously. And yet it endures. And I hit this whole new break line. I break away from hating my body to loving my body. I only get one body in this lifetime, and to condemn it is ridiculous. So now, when I'm out and I can see somebody thinking, "Oh, that poor thing, she can't walk," I just smile inside and think, "Oh, if only you could see what an incredible body I have." It takes a licking so I can keep on sitting and kick ass for years to come.